Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of TCG Talk. Hope you all are having a great day. Today, we're back with another deck tech video, a Blitz deck tech with Briar. Like I said, I have 6 total deck techs I've been wanting to put out over the next 6 total Blitz deck techs over the next week or so, and a couple of constructed as well. A couple days ago, we did a classic constructed Briar deck tech, and today we're going to be doing a Blitz one. I decided to do a physical deck tech because I had a couple of comments saying like they'd rather see the physical version of the cards, which is totally fine. Like I said, any deck tech that I do, I only do cards that I play, so I don't care either way. So hopefully y'all like this version. If you do, let me know. Leave a comment below if you want me to go back to the digital version of the text, and I can do that as well. Totally fine with either one. But yeah, today we're playing Briar. As you can see here, it's the Blitz hero. With Briar, I always run Rosetta Thorn. It's just too efficient of a weapon. Some people will sub in, and I have subbed in once or twice Reaping Blade to help prevent life gain. But overall, this is the biggest one. That it's too efficient of a weapon. It's honestly the best weapon in the game, and you really shouldn't use anything other than that weapon. For equipment, I don't have all the equipment all the fancy stuff that a lot of people have. Specifically Arcanite Skullcap. If you have that, definitely run that as the headpiece. One thing you can run if you don't have it, or you can use as a sideboard option, is Crown Dichotomy. I use this instead of Arcanite Skullcap. I like it especially in Blitz because I can put 2 Runeblade cards back into my deck, especially on top of my deck. Which is really nice. Like you'll see later on, there's a couple really good Runeblade cards that can help give you a pivot turn. So maybe you're trying to set up for a pivot turn the next turn. Maybe you arsenal a really good card, and you can use Crown Dichotomy in order to put those cards back on top of your deck and then have that swing turn the next turn. It's also good for the Arcane Barrier, so it's good for that as well. At the chest piece, I run one of 2. I either run I don't have Findle Spring Tunic, but honestly, you don't need it as much in Blitz because it's probably not going to last that many turns. But I run Ether Ironweave usually. It gives me 2 resources once I've played an attack or a non-attack action, which is really nice. And it's not like Heart and Cross Trap where both resources pop on the next card. It's just 2 total resources, which in this deck is really good if you're trying to get off. I only have 4 1-cost cards in this deck, so if I'm trying to get one of those off and the Rosetta Thorn that turn, then I can use this to do that. And it blocks for 1, which is really nice. If I'm not using Ether Ironweave, then I'll use Bloodchief Skeleton. Bloodchief Skeleton is really good in the mirror because it blocks for 3 total over its whole lifespan, and you can actually pop it if you have 1 rune chant. If you create a rune chant with Grasp, you could use it that way, but really it's just for block. It's mainly used against the Briar matchup. It's also going to be used really good against Oldheim, Prism, and Bravo to prevent those on-hit effects, so definitely use that if you have the chance. At the arm piece, I use Grasp of the Arknight. Really good for making rune chants, but really it's also the main reason is it's blocked for 3 over its lifespan. When you have this and Bloodchief Skeleton, like you're blocking for 6 total with equipment, which is really nice. So I use Bloodchief Skeleton and Grasp when I have to do heavy blocking matchups. But even then, it's really good to create rune chants, push through a little bit extra arcane damage, especially if you're trying to get some on-hit effect. Yeah, it's just really good for that and give multiple instances of damage. For the leg piece, I've kind of gone back and forth. So I have Spellbound Creepers here, and I have Snapdragon Scalers. I don't really think either one's worse or better. I think it literally depends on your sequencing. How do you play the deck, right? I always give the example of Plunder Runs, right? If you play Plunder Run with Snapdragon Scalers, you're probably going to play it prior, and it's not an arsenal, right? You're probably going to play it prior to try to make them draw a card. Which with Spellbound Creepers, you play the attack first, and then you pop Spellbound Creepers and play Plunder Run at instant speed. So it just depends on how you play your deck, how you sequence your deck. Obviously, with Snapdragon Scalers, you're always going to get that consistent 1 attack with Go Again no matter what. But Spellbound Creepers, if you use it properly, in Blitz, you only could probably use it twice max, but you can really throw your opponent off with your sequencing and make them have to really think about how they want to block because they don't know if you're going to pop it or not. Whereas Snapdragon Scalers, a lot of times, unless it's just a really weird situation, they know when you're going to pop it and they can play around it. So it just depends on what you want to do. Right now, I'd say I mainly use Spellbound Creepers because I can still use pop stuff at instant speed and it blocks for 1. So if I'm using Skeleton, Grasp, and Spellbound Creepers, I'm blocking for 7 total with my equipment, which is really nice. So that's my equipment. Pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Like I said, if you have Arcanite Skullcap or Findle Spring Tunic, definitely use those. I just only use cards that I own, so it's a little bit different. So we have 3 different piles here. The first pile is my attack actions. The second pile is my non-attack / instant speed stuff. And then my third pile is basically my blues. I run 8 blues in the deck, and that's not necessarily to pay for resources, although it does help. It's mainly to enable my deck a little bit more. But first we'll get into the attack actions. I run 20 attack actions total in the deck. Starting with a Lightning Strike, obviously a great card to use. I usually either use the Go Again feature or the Draw a Card feature. If I already have a Lightning token, I'll play a Lightning Strike and use Draw a Card. And usually that Lightning token was made from a card like Nimblism or Plunder Run or something like that. So this card's already going to be buffed. And so it's already coming in for 8 or, something like that. So I'll use the Draw a Card feature in order to continue my hand and keep it going. Next thing I run is Arcanic Crackle. Just a solid card, 0 cost, hits for 3 with 1 arcane. If you can pump this with some of my pump spells that we'll talk about here in a little bit, it gets even better. So that's a really good card. Ravenous Rabble's pretty obvious. In this deck, it's a little bit, it still hits really well, but because I do have 8 blues and 2 yellows, it can, go down a little bit more. But sometimes I'll try to get a pump with this as well to make it hit hard. And plus, it's just a Go Again card, so it's good no matter what. Lightning Surge is a big one, especially play out Arsenal and give it Go Again. But it's a good lightning card for Fuse with Arcanic Shockwave, which will come up here in a minute. And it's just kind of a standard hits for 4 0 cost card in the deck. Next one is Scar for a Scar. I use this. Obviously, you'll be trading life back and forth as a Briar player. Sometimes you won't be blocking, especially in Blitz. So it's really good because it's going to have Go Again a lot. And it's just really good for that. And then I run 4 total ball lightnings. I run 2 reds and 2 yellows. Sorry about that. 2 reds and 2 yellows. I don't run the blues. It's just I don't want to have that many cards in my deck that don't block, especially since I have these 4 along with 4 instant speed or instant cards. So I have 8 cards in my deck right now that don't block. So I didn't want to have any more. Plus, blue ball lightning is just really easy to block unless you just combo it really hard with Sting. But it's still great cards, and I have 4 of them. I run Twine Lightning. Almost always have Go Again with this card because I'm always fusing it. Just another good 0 cost for 4 attack. I run 2 Snatches. They are really good as well, especially if you can have this with a Lightning token or give it Go Again with Spellbound Creepers, something like that. Or gain an action point back with Spellbound Creepers. Really good. It helps you draw a card. And you'll see also why this card can be insane in this deck here in a minute. And then I run Arcanic Shockwave as my last one. 0 cost for 4. Good if you pump it. If you fuse it, it deals 1 arcane, so it's hitting for 5 at 0 cost. Just a great card. So this is what I run. 20 total attacks. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to leave the Snatch out here for a second because I'm going to show you all why Snatch is so good in this deck if you can get the right combo line. It's just a really good card. So that's my attacks, 20 attack action cards. We'll put Snatch over here. So looking at our yellows / instant speed cards, we run a couple different pumps. So we run Lightning Press as an obvious one, right? It's really big in the Lightning decks. I run just a red. Really good to hit for 3, get those on hit effects, get that draw card feature from Snatch. All my cards are 1 or less, so it's going to be able to pump every single card in my deck. I run red Nimblism. Pumping my cards for 3, which is really good. It's just an easy thing to do. I will also then, the one thing that's going to be weird, my deck is different from other people, is I run 2 Art of Wars. I wanted to be able to make this deck a little bit more daunting when it comes to how much damage is getting put out. And Art of War is really good for that. So I'll run 8 blues to help pay for Art of War when it comes up. Ideally, I want to Arsenal Art of War and then use Force of Nature, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, Art of War is a really good card to help, now 4 attack cards are attacking for 5. And if you pump something, if you play Art of War and then you pump something with a Nimblism and then you play a Snatch, all of a sudden your Snatch is hitting for 8 and it's almost guaranteed to hit. From because they're not going to really hard. It's going to have to be hard for them to cover up the full 8, especially if it's late in the game and they've already used their equipment. So Art of War is just really good to have those wide turns, especially if you're playing cards like Snatch. You're playing a card like Force of Nature. I'll go ahead and talk about Force of Nature since I'm talking about Art of War. It's 2 of the blues I run are Force of Nature. And basically what Force of Nature does, even if you don't fuse it, whenever a card, if you play Force of Nature, whenever an attack action hits that turn, if its base attack is greater, if its attack is greater than its base, you draw a card. So it's basically like a snatch feature. So if you play Art of War into a Force of Nature, basically every attack you play that turn that hits draws you a card. Which is huge. I've had certain combo lines where I've played like literally 6, 7, 8 attacks. The other thing about Art of War that I'll normally do, which is a little risky, but you can do it, is I will banish an attack card. Like, so if I have Art of War in Arsenal, and then I have Force of Nature with maybe like 3 attack actions, I'll use the feature where you ban an attack action to draw 2 to get an extra card in hand, because I know I'm going to likely, because I have 20 out of 40 of my cards are attack actions, I'm probably going to draw an attack back up. So I will do that sometimes just to get that extra card in hand and be able to use it later on. But if you don't do that, you can just give your next attack go again if you absolutely have to. Like playing Art of War into Force Nature into Art of War into Snatch and use the go again feature is really good, because your Snatch will be hitting, for 5 minimum with go again, which is really good. So that's the one I play, and I use Force Nature as a combo with it. I run 4 plunder runs. I run red and blue. Just really good cards. I don't run the full set just because it takes up a little bit too much of my deck. I have 16 non-attack actions in this deck, so 12 attacks, 20 attacks, 16 non-attacks, and 4 at that instance. I also play Sonata Arcanics, just a really good card. If it hits, it just gets you another card in hand. Obviously, you don't want it to whiff, but even if it does whiff, it gets you, it allows you to shuffle your deck, right? So, like, if I draw instant non-attack, which isn't good, I at least get to shuffle my deck, and now I don't screw myself the next turn. It's almost like an op feature, inadvertently, which is really nice. And then finally, I run Electrify. So as you can see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and then I have 4 more non-attacks in my blues. But yeah, so this is what I run kind of non-attack action-wise, or cards that don't attack, right? A lot of pumps, as you can see, with Lightning Press, with Nimblism, with Plunder Run if you played out Arsenal. Electrify is really good with Ball Lightning. Then the rest of the blues that I run are obviously Captain's Call, which is a pretty obvious one in Briar, and Sting of Sorcery. So if you can get that Sting Ball combo, or Sting, play Electrify out Arsenal, then Sting, then Ball, like you're just getting a lot of different things going on, and it's a really good combo deck. I've been doing really well with this deck. The only deck that I really struggle with, I guess, for lack of a better term, is ice cards, which obviously Oldheim's doing really well in Blitz right now. Anyway, it's not that it's like I can't play against it. It's just a little bit harder. Obviously, you can't sideboard in Blitz, so it's a little bit more of a risk to play like an Art of War. But I'm just trying to pump my attacks a little bit more and put a little more pressure on my opponent, because Redline, Briar, and Blitz, although very, very good, can be a little kind of one-dimensional. So I wanted to try to figure that out and see if I could change it up and kind of give my opponent something else to think about. But yeah, this is the deck. I'll link it in the description below as well for you all, so you all can see it. It's a really good deck. I've been doing really well with it in my local area on the Fab Discord. I've been doing pretty well with it, so it's a really fun deck to play. And it's really, keeps a little bit more pressure in the meta right now. I think Briar's doing really well in Blitz as well, but also Oldheim's doing really well. Ira's still good. Kano's still good. I meant to say that, one thing I wanted to add is, if you're playing against a Kano, obviously because you can have sideboard equipment, I would maybe, if you're playing Kano, then I would probably run full Null Rune, with the exception of Spellbound Creepers and or Snapdragon Scalers. So I would just run Crown Dichotomy, 2 Null Rune equipment, and then your foot piece can be one of the 2 that I mentioned with these 2, because Kano can really burn you down really quickly. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of the deck. I think it's pretty good, but if you have any suggestions, let me know what you think of the Art of War. I know it's kind of a controversial addition, but I think it does really well. I'm really excited to use it in the future for the skirmish season this month. So yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want to. Please go check out my other deck tech videos. Let me know what you think of those. Always trying to improve and kind of give you all better content as time goes on. Yeah, hope all y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.